this hearing. It is disturbing to me, kind of this defense of Vladimir Putin and Russia, and it's very worrisome. Look, if we want to call an independent investigation looking beyond 2016, looking to the last administration, great, let's do it. But this is about protecting our democracy. I mean, let's just go through a timeline of what our current president has said. In October of 2013, he talked about how he does a lot of business with Russia. In November of 2015, he talked about how he got to know Putin very well because we were both on 60 Minutes. They were stablemates. December of 2015, Vladimir Putin praises him. In response, Trump praises him back. February of 2016, he talks about how Putin called him a genius. March 28th, he hires Paul Manafort. August 17th, President Trump gets his first intelligence briefing. We're told in that briefing he's shown direct evidence of Russian government hacking emails. 2 days later, Paul Manafort resigns. In July of 2016, he encourages the Russians to hack Hillary Clinton's emails. President Trump's elected November 8th. November 9th, the Russian parliament cheers. This is very worrisome. The president talks about this as a political witch hunt. Look, he won the election, but this isn't a political witch hunt. When the tragedy of Benghazi happened, we came together, an independent investigation, looked at what happened, what went wrong. We lost some heroes that day. They made recommendations. We ought to do the same thing. I think many of us would say the millions of dollars that were spent on Benghazi, the majority had no issue with doing that. We ought to do the same thing. This is not Democrats or Republicans. This is about protecting the integrity of our elections and pushing back. I would ask, I'd ask the witnesses a couple yes/no questions. Do you have faith in the intelligence community's assessment that Russia intentionally interfered with our recent elections? Yes, no?
Yes, but I'm very troubled to see the Commander-in-Chief announcing something that I would have thought was sensitive information, and then reading that people were rolled up in Russia who were probably too close to Putin. So this distresses me.
Yes, no? Intelligence?
As a citizen, yes, I have faith in the intelligence community.
Ambassador?
Yes.
And based on that, do we believe that we ought to consider this interference in our democracy and our elections a national security threat? Ambassador Bloomfield.
I use the word challenge.
Mr. Doran.
Russia's efforts to destabilize the West on all fronts is a threat to us.
Ambassador Bera.
Yes.
Great. And I think we'd all agree that we don't believe Russia or Vladimir Putin has our best interests or democracy's best interests in mind in these attempts. This is about us coming together as Democrats and Republicans and protecting our democracy. If America is not standing up for democracy and pushing back, the rest of the world is watching. It starts to undermine our leadership. Mr. Chairman, one of the reasons why this has been such a great committee is the bipartisan nature of your leadership working with the ranking member. I'd urge you to let us mark up the Protect Our Democracy Act. Let's have this discussion. Let's set up an independent investigation, look at those independent findings, and look at those independent recommendations to protect our elections, to protect the integrity of our elections. Let's not do a political witch hunt. This is about our democracy. Would any of you disagree? Let's go to Ambassador Bloomfield. Would you support the recommendation of setting up an independent investigation that could come up with findings and make recommendations?
I think an investigation is absolutely appropriate, but where you come out, if we are in confusion, if we are in chaos, if we stop after an investigation and say we're dysfunctional and we can't restore the Western order against the threat, then we have failed. So the idea is to heal the nation, find a way to move forward, see what we can agree on, and have our political differences, show the world that our democracy not only is democratic, but that we can get something done at work.
Ambassador Bera, should we do an investigation?
Yes, and I said as much in my testimony, both written and
Great, thanks. I'm out of time.
Mr. Ted Yoho of Florida.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for everybody enduring